God, Jake.
Hello and welcome back to the Spotlight Games podcast for episode 165. I'm Jake Twitchin, and today we're talking Microsoft madness. These guys are all over the place. I am not Kishwasi. He is not the dumpster boy. However, he is the gremlin without trousers.
Jesus
Maury.
What was the one that was so wholesome last week? What was it?
Oh, I don't remember, but it was pretty good. It was actually fairly kind.
It was.
I remember that.
It was kind. And then we had
unusual for us.
And then we had the Dan Good show come in and say the gospel worth telling, which I'll never forget.
That is really good. Yeah, that is just unequivocally strong.
yeah. But one more time. This week I am.
You are the gremlin without trousers, of course.
I love it. The gremlin without trousers. Dude, Jake, what an exciting time. So excited to be here and talk to you about some video games, what we've been playing, some updates and games news. Dude, I really want to hear about your time with Doom: The Dark Ages.
Ooh, well, I hate to bury the lead a little bit, but I don't want to talk too much about Dark Ages, even though I am like further than most people. So yeah, let's jump into things. So Doom came out technically in early access last night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Mm-hmm. I hopped on immediately and played the opening like 3 hours or so, and I had the time of my life. Now,
what?
Here's the thing, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about this now. We have a whole episode of Drop In, Drop Out that we're going to have a roundtable discussion about Doom: The Dark Ages, or at least the opening of Doom: The Dark Ages. You're going to hop on board. I think Kayla's hopping into it. I think a bunch of people are going to be on there. Speaking of Kayla, already in the chat, along with High Score Weekly, our dynamic duo out there. Good to see you guys. I think that conversation is going to be better suited to bounce off of people that have also played the game about how rad the opening and the like game itself is. But I want to talk to you now on Spotlight about kind of a unique thing that I did this week for what we're playing, because I don't actually have a history with the Doom franchise like most would expect. Let me pick your brain a little bit. What is your history with it? How far back do you go? I'm assuming you've probably only touched 2016 and Eternal, if you've touched either of those, and nothing more, right?
Yeah. My history with Doom is 2016 and Eternal. I've not touched like the old games. I've watched gameplay of them. I don't know. I don't think I would enjoy them if I went back and played them. But what about you? What is your experience? What is your history?
So I am very much, an old man. I am the unk of Drop In, Drop Out and Spotlight Games. P Swag is in here. That's our dad, already hanging out in his own chat. We love it. So I've played the original Doom, back in the day when I was a kid, playing Doom and like Wolfenstein and Quake and games of that nature, those early first-person shooters where, you could only look left and right, no up and down. Those kind of games were a big deal to me as a child. So Doom and Doom 2 were a big deal. I went back to like Doom 64. When the Xbox was out, Doom 3 was a big deal. I played the opening hours of that at a friend's house, and I thought that was very cool. I had never touched Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal up until yesterday. Not even a single moment of gameplay, which for a very high profile game like that is really rare for me. They just both come out at times where it like wasn't my jam. And I remember like the whole Animal Crossing launch thing and that whole thing, but for some reason, it just wasn't me. I never got into it.
Wow.
So I decided, because of the way that Doom: The Dark Ages looks, I was like, God, that just feels up my alley, man. The fact that you're just like a heavy fucking badass with all sorts of mech stuff going on and the shield, and I was like, this just feels way more up my alley than either of the other Doom games. So I did something kind of wild, and leading up to the go live time at 8 p.m. for Doom: The Dark Ages, I played the opening hour and a half of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, which I can say now confidently didn't matter at all to my experience with Doom: The Dark Ages. If anybody is out there wondering if they should start at Doom: The Dark Ages, feel free.
Wow.
there is not much going on that makes it feel like, oh, I have no idea what is the context here. It feels like a pretty all original story. It's pretty bare bones. This game is about shooting guns and being loud. It is a really, really good time. I had a fun time with Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, and I was really impressed with how both similar and different these three games are. You can feel the DNA. There is a lot of things that are consistent. They're all very fast, very loud, very in your fucking face, extremely gory. There's a lot going on that is extremely similar. Obviously, they're sequels to one another, but the distinct differences in the actual the design philosophy of those three games is very, very interesting to see and feel. And I think playing all three in one day was kind of a rad experience that is probably pretty unique to me. I don't know how many people have actually like booted up all three and played them in one day, back to back to back like that. And I know it's just a little sampling, but nonetheless, I like to do a unique thing from time to time. And I had a really good time. But I can say that, it's really interesting to play a studio's 3 AAA games right in a row and experience their intros and tutorials every time. And see the evolution that they took from 2016 to like, God, this is a lot of text on my screen. I'm getting slowed down all the time, to Eternal, to like, they almost got it, but I don't know exactly what's going on. And this hasn't been the most fun opening 10 minutes, to Dark Ages, which is so concise and pauses you at the right time and gives you like bulleted lists of what's happening here and explains itself so very well. Fuck. It's really good, man. I'm having a blast. I mean, I know this is par for the course for old JT over here, plays a new game, says it's the best game of the year, but I feel like when we get to the end of the year and we're talking about best intros or opening moments, or in general, not even like opening and intros, just like best, most badass, coolest video game moments, Doom is going to be up there for me. Like just in these opening hours, it is unreal. It is unreal. Super, super good. So I'm hot on Doom. You're getting into it, right?
Oh, hell yeah. I can't wait. I mean, Doom was one of my most anticipated games this year. Obviously, I drafted it in the Fantasy Critic. I've played a little bit of 2016. I've played all the way through Eternal. I actually streamed it in the height of my depression after Concord was taken offline.
Yeah.
So I love Eternal, and I've been so excited for this game. I was gonna buy the collector's edition for it, but I was like, dude, you're already spending 500 or more combined on Ghost of Yotei and Death Stranding 2. So I chose not to, but the statue looks fucking awesome. No, I'm so excited to get into it. I love the way that the devs have talked about this experience, that like in Eternal, you're like a fighter jet, and in the Dark Ages, you're like a fucking tank. Like, I love what you were saying about like those DNA elements. There are some things about Doom that just don't really change, but the things they do change make it feel totally fucking different than the last game that you played. So I'm really excited to see what it did with Dark Ages. I plan on getting a few hours in probably tomorrow before work. But yeah, I'm happy to hear that you're loving it, and also happy to see that it got an 86, because my fucking God, I needed some points on the board for fantasy.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
very good.
Yeah.
If you're interested in more Doom talk in general, the theme of Thursday's Drop In Drop Out episode, which is of course you can find on twitch.tv/dropindropoutpod, or go to dropindropoutpod.com, is not just Doom, although Doom will be the centerpiece, and Doom the Dark Ages impression/review will be what anchors the entire conversation. We're talking about boomer shooters in general. We're also going to have a segment at the end of the show. Cog is going to be talking about mental health in video games for Mental Health Awareness Month, and nothing says good mental health like killing demons from hell. So you put them all into the same episode. Get excited. Drop In Drop Out has something for everybody. But what have you been playing? I've been yapping this entire time. Talk to me.
Oh no, I was ecstatic. I asked you for your thoughts on Doom the Dark Ages.
So
well, I want to answer. Always, you're my JT. You're my short stream bandit. Plays a little of a lot and a lot of a little. I was about to AmazingStreamer.com. Go check it out. So funny. Kayla in chat says, Maury, have you played The Midnight Walk? For those of you that don't know, The Midnight Walk is a new indie game that's come out. Beautiful art style, right? It was made by the people that did Lost in Random, the developers that did Lost in Random. And I drafted this game on my Fantasy Critic. I also bought it the hour it came out. Kayla, I love your question. Maury, have you played The Midnight Walk? The answer is no. And the reason that I have not
right.
is because every time, of which there have been very few in the last 6 days, that I've booted up my PS5 with an hour to play a game, an hour and a half, I saw Expedition 33 sitting to the left of the Midnight Walk.
Yep.
That sweet, sweet music enters my ear holes and it plugs them real fucking good. And it digs in me. That fucking music is digging in me. And so, yeah, I can't fucking play the Midnight Walk. I have only been playing Claire Obscure. If I have an hour, my God, I give that hour to Claire and it rewards me. It totally rewards me. Every moment in this game, it keeps getting better. I keep falling in love with it more. I keep waiting for that moment, like I always do with turn-based games, where I fall off and I'm done. And I'm like, dude, the story's kind of falling apart. The gameplay's getting repetitive. The enemies or whatever. Like, my relationships with my team don't feel meaningful. Like, I don't feel like I'm hitting my build that makes me feel powerful and insane and like a demon. I've not had that fucking problem. And I probably have 4 hours left in the main storyline of the game. I think my only sadness and or grief about this title is that I won't be able to see all of it. Which is what I really wish I could do right now. I wish that I could just give another 40 hours to Claire and get to the bottom of it, but I probably won't.
Sure.
But no, I mean, Claire's been so rewarding. Expedition 33 is the game of the year, but I'm really excited to play the Midnight Walk when I'm done with Claire Obscure, Expedition 33. Famously, Jake, your least favorite game of the year?
I don't know, man. I'm not gonna, kick it while it's down type of thing. Right, it's fine. It's great. It seems great. Film the Dark Ages. All right, Maury, I got to pick your brain. I have a thought here. We're doing it live, baby. When you were talking about Lost in Random, it brought me back to like a certain time of like smaller scale games, and I was thinking about, what was the name of that studio in that IP that we were talking about 3 or 4 weeks ago that was auctioning off their assets, and we could buy that game's IP for like pennies on the dollar. Dude, it was like, I have it in my head. It's like there's like a blue theme. The cover is blue, and it's either sea or sky stuff, and it's kind of journey pilled, kind of Child of Light pilled. Right. Rhyme. Good shit. Good shit, Cog. I want to see if the Rhyme auction.
God damn it, Jake.
The liquidation of the Rhyme auction. I gotta find it. All right. I am going to pull up the auction site. I'm here. Let's see what the current bid is. Rhyme. There's only 10 Whoa! I logged in at the right time.
What's the bid at?
There's only 10 hours left.
Jesus.
It's about to end.
What's the bid at, Jake?
All right.
What are they bidding at?
I'm going to translate it to US dollars so that we can have an idea. It has gone up substantially. I want to say it was at about 15,000 US dollars last time.
I think so.
And it looks like with 10 hours left, the price for the entire trademark and IP to Rhyme is at $61,530.
It's a fucking steal. It's a fucking steal.
It feels like it does feel like a steal. It feels like a name that people would recognize, and you put a 2 on it, and the first game is like worth downloading. I think that could get a push. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everything else is not doing so hot.
What do you mean?
I don't know. There's weird things for sale on this website, and I don't know. It's just strange to see. There's like those concept games that are selling for like less than $3,000, where it's like a vertical slice demo and an idea of a game they wanted to make. It just seems so strange. But there's some stuff that's even more than Rhyme. There's a Tequila Works' Deadlight trademark and IP that is going for closer to like 80 or 90,000, which is wild.
Wait, Deadlight? What game was that? Oh shit.
That's like Deadlight Save Yourself. Is the thing that I see. There's a gameplay trailer from 13 years ago. Looks like it's an older thing for 360.
Oh God. Yeah, this is a decade old. This is insane. Wow. Okay. Weird. Very weird. This website is so bizarre. Just the concept of it is so strange.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Noah in the chat is here. Welcome in. Do I empty my savings to buy Rhyme? Excellent question. We were talking about that. I liked it more when it was $15,000. For $60,000, I think I'm out on Rime personally.
Yeah.
Now, if my net worth was a little bit higher, perhaps yes. Perhaps yes. Very good shit, Coggy, by the way. Getting Rime. Okay, I want to talk about what I've been playing a little bit more. There's a franchise that I'm eager to talk to anybody about, and oftentimes those people will walk away from me or silence me or mute me and not want to have the conversation because I'm an animal about it, and they often are not into it. So I'm going to use you as my sounding board because I have you as a captive audience.
So I'm a victim.
Which means I can talk about, what do you think I'm going to say? So I can talk about
dude, like I literally like
divisive gaming franchise, popular.
Oh, wow. Okay. Give me more.
RPG.
When was its last game that came out? What year?
2019 is what I've been playing. Don't look at chat. Do not look at chat. No, I saw your eyes go to chat immediately.
I didn't. I'm looking in your eyes. I'm looking in your eyes.
Okay. That's actually good. You haven't moved your eyes.
I've not.
Since I said it. That's
controversial. Very good. What makes it controversial?
Not controversial. Maybe not controversial.
Okay.
It's just like some people like it, some people don't. Generally pretty well received.
Okay.
Famous. You've heard of it for sure.
Okay.
Started coming out around PS2 era. There's been iterations on consoles, many consoles.
Oh, wow.
Many different consoles.
Wow.
Many different iterations.
Wow. Yeah, I have no idea.
The main series is a trilogy.
The main
sold by Square Enix.
Oh, okay. Square Enix, RPG, PS2.
Remember the first thing that I said? I want to use you as my captive audience to yap about it.
Yeah, I'm scared. You know? I'm really scared.
Like, what is a Square Enix game where people are gonna be fucking chirping?
Hold on, I'm not looking. I'm just looking something up. Square Enix games came out 2019.
Yeah, you're looking up the answer.
yeah, I am. I fucking am.
I can just tell you. I know it. I think you don't have to look it up.
Wait, is it Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, dude, it's Kingdom fucking Hearts.
That's controversial?
I think Kingdom Hearts lore is kind of like a walking meme. Like, people that are really into Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, but everybody's fucking into Kingdom Hearts. They're beating their dick off to it every week. Like, what are we talking about?
No, a lot of people aren't. I feel like there's an equal amount of Kingdom Hearts lovers and haters, and there's really not many people that are impartial on it.
Wow. Okay, this is shocking. Tell me more about what's going on with Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts 2 is my favorite game of all time. I truly fucking adore it. And in between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3, there were 14 years. Do I have that right? Is my math good? 14 years where there was a bunch of side stories and stuff like that. So when Kingdom Hearts 3 was reintroduced and then released in 2019, there was a lot of shit riding on its back. Kingdom Hearts 3 is an imperfect video game. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a great video game. It suffers from a couple distinct things. Number one, it is not just a sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2. It is a sequel to all of the Kingdom Hearts games and side stories that have come before it, in between Kingdom Hearts 2 and even prior to Kingdom Hearts 2.
Right.
It also just straight up has some pacing issues. But besides that, Kingdom Hearts 3 is awesome. To me, that game is like an easy 9 out of 10 and a great final entry into a trilogy. And I am so glad to be playing through Kingdom Hearts 3. It's the finale to like a short playthrough, like I call it like a light playthrough of the series, where there are so many side games that I skipped the vast majority of them, and I just hopped back into Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, one of the side games which I love, Birth by Sleep, the PSP one. You probably know what it is from pop culture, and you know,
no,
it's the only PSP one, the handheld one, and then Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
So Kingdom Hearts 3 is the end. It's the second to last game that has come out, and it is really, really fun to be back in. I still sing the praises of this game's battle system and the core mechanics that are carried over from 2. It's not as good as 2, obviously. It's tough to follow up the best action RPG of all time, but it is really, really fucking good. I know, the first 5 hours, it's easy to say that about. Once I get a little further into it, it's going to be a little nightmarish because I know the pacing starts to slow down. You're just playing through Disney Worlds for a while, but it does stick the fucking landing, and the DLC is fantastic as well. Maury.
Yeah.
I see you smiling over there.
Yeah.
What are you goofing about?
the chat's cooked you a little bit. The chat's
chat will, you know.
I'm starting to
Go
realize
on.
that maybe this is more controversial than I imagined. See, here's the thing. I feel like any person that I've ever talked to about Kingdom Hearts or that I've heard speak about Kingdom Hearts adores it. I'm now learning that's not necessarily the case. I've always known that the story was kind of like bullshit. You know what I mean? That it's just like a
Sure.
retelling of the Disney shit with like a Final Fantasy character in it. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan. I love Disney, but I'm not a Final Fantasy fan.
Sure.
And I never understood what the purpose was of mixing Final Fantasy characters with Disney characters. Like, holy shit, what a phenomenal pull for Square Enix. Like, for your characters to be placed alongside some of the most iconic characters in history. Wow, great job.
Yeah.
You probably made a great decision there. But I've never had a desire to go play Kingdom Hearts, despite everyone that I've known telling me that it was great. Probably because I don't have a connection to Final Fantasy. But it does make complete sense that it would be something you're into, given what a Final Fantasy sicko you are. I mean, it's perfect.
For sure.
Right.
It was honestly like my entry point to Final Fantasy was very much synonymous with my entry to Kingdom Hearts, because the first time I had dabbled in Final Fantasy 7 and C to play, but I didn't actually play Final Fantasy 7 until going back to it after getting into Final Fantasy 10. So I played Final Fantasy 10 and then saw the similarities and the crossovers and the fact that like the main character of Final Fantasy 10 is in Kingdom Hearts. They came out within like a year and a half of each other. It was just such an easy alley-oop for me to go from Final Fantasy to Kingdom Hearts, which was a great entry point into a new RPG franchise that had things that were familiar to me in both ranges. Obviously a lifelong Disney fan, as well as now super hot on Final Fantasy. So that time in between Final Fantasy 10 and looking forward to Kingdom Hearts 1 was a great time for me to go back and check out Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, Tactics Advanced. I remember is something that I got really into that year, that kind of thing. But that is to say, I understand that Kingdom Hearts isn't for everybody. However, my oh my, do I fucking adore it. It is just
that. I love the nostalgia. Like I can just see it tickling
so good.
you. Like the way you smile. It's like you're fucking what, you were probably 33 when the first game came out. I mean,
you cocksucker. No, I was a young lad in 2001. I was 13 or 14. I was the perfect age to get into that shit. Maybe a little bit too old, but I don't know. You can't help what you like. I had a phase right before that where right when I got into high school, I was like, I should be cool and not pay attention to nerdy things. And I like sold my Pokemon cards and like didn't play as many video games publicly or talk about it publicly, and began partying and, you know, talking to girls more. And then I found a balance for that. Eventually I was like, okay, well, I absolutely love this shit. Also, I lived through the time where it wasn't cool to be a fucking nerd. I had to, but let me tell you, when it got cool, I asserted myself real high up very fast.
Yeah, dude, I hear this like conversation go on about like, oh, it's cool to be a nerd now. Like, it's cool to like Star Wars now. It's not cool for me to be on my 9th hour of playing Claire Obscura and I've DoorDash 2 fucking meals. That's still not cool. That's
actually very cool. You're mistaken.
No. Like, if you go up to a woman at a function and you're like, oh, what she's like, what'd you do yesterday? What were you up to? Oh, I played Claire Obscura Expedition 33, likely game of the year, for 8 hours straight, and like didn't think and didn't blink and like only got up to take a shit or eat. That's not
no.
like,
I think that's rad. No, and you'll find, dude. I've talked about this many times. You'll figure it out, Maury. I'm telling you. You got a great situation over there. You got a loving wife.
I do. My God, yeah, my wife. She'll kill us both.
Correct. I am a single man who has entanglements. However, there was a period of time where I was the type of guy who said, Jake, you can't own a Tifa statue. You'll never get laid again.
Yeah, fuck
now,
that.
I'm not interested in any woman who's not interested in me because of my Tifa statue.
Amen.
You know?
Amen.
And let me tell you, life's better for it.
Right. Oh, 100%.
Embrace your passions. Find someone that matches your freak.
Amen and amen. When I was in college doing my shit, I'm still got to finish the degree. Jesus Christ. I say it like it was forever ago.
You got this.
But it kind of was. I had 100 Funko Pops up on my wall, all my collector's edition statues. Didn't stop shit. Be passionate. Love what you love, God damn it. I love that you are reigniting your love of Kingdom Hearts live on twitch.tv/Jake Twitchin. Go to amazingstreamer.com to check out the
What
short
the fuck
stream
is
canon.
this? No, you don't. What the fuck? I am. All right. Here's how I know that I'm like an absolute monster of like a human is because I just went on this long tangent about like living your life and doing this. And then immediately as you were like, I had like 100 Funko Pops on my wall. I just wanted to be like 100 Funko Pops, save some pussy for the rest of us. Like,
you're such a bitch.
Oh, wow.
Yo, I hate you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. It's a good collection.
Good.
It's worth some money. That's the way I get around it. I'm like, yeah,
I bet you got Sora from Kingdom Hearts in there.
No, but I have like Prowler from the original Spider-Verse movie, and he's worth like 150 now, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna pay.
Firm understanding of who Prowler is.
You wait, you don't have a firm understanding of who Prowler is?
It might be his uncle.
Boom. You're so intelligent. You put it together instantly.
Yeah. You got there.
Yeah.
You got there. All right. Very good. We got news to talk about. You want to get into it?
Let's fucking do it. Talk to me.
We're 26 minutes into the news show. What do you say we talk about the news?
Yeah, I guess I'll relinquish the fun. It's all right.
So I was trying to put together the way that Spotlight Games works. Let me give you a little inside baseball. Is like it's clearly a show that should be anchored by a single topic or a topic or two via like what's the biggest news of the past week. And then we kind of run through some of the other headlines of the week. We spotlight some of the greatest news throughout the past week since we last met. However, this week I was like stuck between a couple different things because there were so many interesting and consequential news stories. And because of that, I was like, shit, I don't know what to go with. And then as I was tallying them, I think I had pulled like 12 or 13 stories that were like of interest to me throughout the week. I looked at them and I was like, holy fuck, like 4 of the 6 most impressive ones are all out of Microsoft's camp.
Yeah.
And arguably the biggest one came around today, and Microsoft's laying off like 3% of its workforce, like 7,000 jobs or something like that. Which business as usual, am I right?
Unfortunately.
In the video game industry.
Yeah.
It's tough, a tough situation. We've talked about this ad nauseum, as it turns out, across all of our platforms and too many times. That really sucks. But Microsoft, bigger company than just Xbox, obviously. We don't know how it's going to affect Xbox, if at all. But this is historically the time. I thought what was interesting is one of the themes that we've had in the past couple of years, and I bring zero data to back this up outside of my very inconsistent memory, is that I remember May being a fucking bloodbath last year of bad news right before the Summer Game Fest stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there was a round of really bad Xbox or Microsoft layoffs in May of last year as well. And at a bunch of different companies that all sort of seemed like they were like, hey, let's have a bad fucking week. And then just shuffle right into a really cool week of like our Xbox showcases. And it is honestly so stupid and so shameful, but the easiest fucking cheat code where if you announce today, Microsoft lays off employees for a couple weeks, you say the word Microsoft and all you can think of is layoffs. However, the sooner you replace that fucking news with Microsoft's Xbox's brand new game announcements and the Fable trailer, that's absolutely incredible, and the release date for Perfect Dark, and you say the word Microsoft, what pops into your brain most recently is cool announcements and trailers. It's so easy to just shovel, dog shit on top of more dog shit, but it's just whatever the most recent dog shit is what comes to mind. Obviously, one's negative, one's positive. A tale as old as time, but interesting to see it continue. I'll tell you what, if I worked at Microsoft in May of 2026, I'd be fucking.
Yeah, dog. No, but I think that what you've said is like, it's really good. And that's that, like, I do see this often. And we saw this just last year, like you said. And it was to the point where I can't remember if it was the Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards. It may have been the Game Awards. I think it was the Game Awards, where they had to make a whole new category for somebody that they were like, yo, this person's positively impacting games. And they're helping people in the industry find work as we have all these mass layoffs. It's like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, like that speaks measures of
I
like where
think
the
that might have
industry.
been at the Game Awards last year. I want to say.
I think it was.
Noah will remember if he's in chat. The man's name who works for people that are affected by layoffs in the video game industry. Really fucking cool dude. He was highlighted in a big way, and there's a bunch of independent you can do to learn more about this man who is so fucking good, and Noah will surely supply us with soon.
I can't
Updates
wait
on that to come. Our correspondent in the field, Noah _C92, is currently pulling names, giving receipts. But Microsoft pops up a couple more times in some really interesting ways. And I feel like this is kind of the future of what the game industry is going to be. Microsoft has become this fucking behemoth of publishing and news and games and development. And there's so many different ways that they work their way into our zeitgeist currently when we're doing random things, talking about different topics. I mean, already the thing that we've talked about the most, well, is probably Kingdom Hearts. But besides that is Doom, which is a fucking Microsoft release via id, via Bethesda, via Microsoft, is on fucking Game Pass, the whole 9 yards. That's Microsoft story number 1. Microsoft layoffs is story number 2. A ton of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater details is story number 3. Microsoft having insane success on the PlayStation Marketplace, PlayStation Store is story number 4. Like the list goes on and on and on with how much they are popping up. So we're calling this episode Microsoft Madness, and we're talking about all of it. I want to talk about Tony Hawk with you.
Let's do it.
You're a Tony Hawk guy.
I am. Yeah, I'm a Tony Hawk guy. I was a skater kid growing up, so fuck yeah, I'm a Tony Hawk guy. Come on.
For sure. They had the first annual Tony Hawk Fest, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater Fest, something along those lines, where they had like a little red carpet and a bunch of the skaters came out and all that. And they announced a bunch of stuff about the Tony Hawk franchise, mostly about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, but a little to use for the future as well. And the biggest news to come out of it is Bam is back, baby. Is that important to you?
Wait, what is back?
Bam!
The fuck is Bam?
You know who Bam Margera is? Oh my god, dude, you're such a little baby boy.
No.
All right, come here and sit on my lap. I got a story for you.
I'm coming, Dad. All right.
Okay.
I'm seated.
All right. All right. Listen, Bam Margera is the skateboarding sensation who rose to fame via his antics on the series Jackass and later Viva La Bam in the Jackass movies. Okay. And he is a actual professional skater, and his sort of like persona defined a lot of like popular skateboarding culture for a couple years there. And it's a very of its time type of like humor, like almost like a slapstickery. He's like a tatted up little fucking nightmare man doing annoying things, pissing off his parents. Real anti-establishment. Drove a bright purple Lamborghini the whole 9 yards. It's a whole fucking situation. But essentially, Bam was not in Tony Hawk until Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. And if you look at the games, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, 4, and then Underground 1, which is kind of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, and Underground 2, which is kind of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 6. Bam's influence grows and grows and grows to the point of the closest that we've ever had to like a dual billing as far as the face of the Tony Hawk franchise outside of Tony Hawk is Bam Margera and Tony Hawk's Underground 2. And throughout the years, Bam has become a very controversial figure because he has struggled greatly with addiction to this, that, and the other thing. And there were signs of that for a very long time. And he's lost friends and gone through the ringer. And he was kicked off of the 4th Jackass movie. And there's some people that talk to him and other people that don't talk to him. And he has recovered and relapsed and recovered and relapsed and been arrested and spotted here and there and divorced this person. He's currently on an incline, but you know, if time will tell if there's another steep decline. But nonetheless, there was an announcement of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 months ago. You guys covered it on this very podcast. You guys did your creative skater draft, or I think it was something like that. Fantasy characters. And then Bam was nowhere to be found. And it seemed like for a while that Bam wasn't going to be in the game because of his controversies and antics throughout the years. And the fans out there really campaigned, and Tony Hawk himself appears to really have campaigned to make sure that Bam's legacy was preserved, regardless of like the current scenario. And that was the big headline last week, is Bam is back for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, which is really rad. I think it's cool, especially if like right now at this period of time he hasn't done anything so reprehensible to our knowledge that he could be seen as brand damaging. But at this point, if you're on the up and up and the time that it took place wasn't bad either, I feel like why not keep things consistent? So I don't know. It's a dumb thing, but it's cool, and it represents a pretty interesting period of time for sure in the Tony Hawk franchise and in like the cultural zeitgeist of what is fucking cool. Like if you talk to anybody my age, they know exactly who Bam Margera is for sure. Yeah. If not from skateboarding, then through that. But that wasn't it for Tony Hawk's information that came out. There was a few more details which are pretty rad. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 in particular is, you haven't played it far back as this, right? You haven't played 3 or 4?
Well, I would have played whatever would have been around in like 2011, 2012. That would have been when I was actively playing at the skate park for like 3-4 hours a day. So like with that, what year would that have been?
That's further on. I think that's probably towards the end, like American Wasteland, Project 8, Proving Ground. Tony Hawk's Proving Ground was 2007. So maybe. that was the last one that came out that was actually like halfway decent, I'm pretty sure, from like the main series. And they had like the Tony Hawk Ride and Shred where you stood on the boards for like the Wii era of everything had to be plastic.
Yeah. I remember those.
By then the whole thing was pretty much over, but you were probably just playing like an old one from the skate park or something like that. But basically, Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters 1, 2, and 3 all followed very much the same formula. 2-minute timed runs where you would have a series of objectives and you could, accomplish as many or as few as you would like during those runs. And you repeat the run until you accomplish what you're looking for, whether that's collect skate or get the high score or find the secret tape or grind the specific rails or take the specific gaps or ollie the magic bum. Who could tell? Does that make any sense to you?
What one more time?
Ollieing the magic bum.
I could ollie. I don't know what the magic bum is.
Well, I can magic bum, so between the two of us, we're gonna be in good shape.
Jesus, but, I feel so unprepared. I like listen.
No, I'm having a good time.
No, and I'm having a greater time because I'm learning all the little intricate details of these games that I never knew. Dude, this was like the break. You go into from the skate park. You've been outside sweating in Missouri fucking heat, which is like 105 to 110.
Don't I know it?
Oh, bro. And you get out of the fucking half pipe and you go in, you throw some water on your fucking face, sip a little bit of the agua, and you just sit there and you play. I don't know what the fuck this Bam shit is or this magic bum shit is. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You're speaking a foreign fucking language to me. What the fuck is this? Egyptian hieroglyphics? The fuck did I miss?
You're gonna have a fucking great time when Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 comes out, because it'll be on Game Pass, which is so exciting. We love to see that. And it'll have a demo for those that pre-order it. Isn't that exciting as well? The Foundry demo, which is the first level from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. But to follow up on my point from before, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 was the first one that took the existing formula and changed it. And it looks like there's a controversial change coming up where 4 had like a semi-open area where you would be dumped into it and you could explore at your leisure and then begin different quests with no timer. It looks like for this one, the timer will be implemented for those levels in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, which will change a lot of the ways that game is kind of played in some weird ways. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. And they've announced that the way that they're getting around some of the stuff that takes more than 2 minutes to complete is being able to manually extend your own timer up to an hour, which feels like a really counterproductive way of giving yourself a challenge. If you can just like things you're supposed to get done in this amount of time can be done in any amount of time. We'll see what it all looks like, but that's one of the last big bastions of people like being like, all right, well, what the fuck is going on right now? But besides that, Tony Hawk, get fucking hyped. The last part that relates to that somewhat, but not to the actual Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is a little bit of a tease. Tony Hawk mentioning Tony Hawk's Underground 1 and 2. And as fans say, what's the word after 3 and 4? Can we keep going? He said he's going to do everything in his power to make that happen. So
Good
We
man.
play our Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 and it reviews well. Maybe this continues, but I, for one, am excited for this remaster, and I would love 1 and 2 to come back, but I would also love that team to work on a brand new Tony Hawk game, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 6 or Tony Hawk's whatever. That is a traditional brand new ground up Tony Hawk game. There is going to be a brand new level or first like Tony Hawk original content in a very long time in 3+4, but I don't know. Full game would be nice.
Sure.
We'll see how it pans out.
Especially if the team has done such a great job with these remakes or remasters. Like, why not?
I agree.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. The last part that I wanted to talk about was the Microsoft madness of the PlayStation Store. Did you catch this fucking headline, man?
No. Well, maybe I did. What is the headline?
The top 3 digital PS5 game sales last month were all Microsoft titles.
Yep.
Number 1, Oblivion. Number 2, Minecraft. And number 3, Forza Horizon 5.
Dude.
Insane.
Dude.
Insane. You know Call of Duty was somewhere in that top 20 as well.
Yeah.
Which is now Microsoft. Crazy. I bet Sea of Thieves is probably still doing well. I mean, overnight, these fuckers have become one of the biggest third-party publishers in the world. And at this point, nothing is sacred. Like Gears of War, we talked about that last week, is coming out. It's only a matter of time until Halo is there. It feels like for the most part. I mean, Doom launched on PS5 this week, which will surely be on the list next month. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, no, I think it's over. Like, and I think like little details like that, you know what I mean? The fact that you had the top 3 selling games on the PlayStation Store. It's like, why would you ever have a conversation about console exclusivity again? Like, I don't know. As someone who has an Xbox and bought an Xbox this generation for exclusives, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little upset. I feel worse for the people that like Xbox is their home console and they go there for the exclusive games. Like, I feel bad for them.
Sure.
But like, yeah, they need money. Like, you bought up all these huge fucking publishers and huge fucking developers, and you've spent billions and billions of dollars acquiring this IP, right? These games. It's like you have to have a return on investment at some point. And look at the PlayStation Store. Top 3 selling games are published by Microsoft. Like, that's a great fucking moment. That's a great fucking outcome. If you're one of the executives up at Microsoft looking over Phil Spencer's shoulder saying, hey, when is Game Pass going to be fucking profitable? Because we're in the red. So, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I guess PlayStation won the console war. Oh,
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Crazy.
God. Yeah.
It's crazy.
When do you think it's going to become normal that just do you think it's already over that Xbox has any exclusives, any timed exclusivity? Or do you think that going forward with the numbers that they're getting, do you think they're just going to say, fuck it, make a PlayStation version for every single title we have in development right now? Gears of War E-Day, right? Fable. Like, do you think that that's a possibility? Well, it's a probability, but when do you think it happens?
It's tough to tell. I think that it'll happen at a very differing cadence over the next like 9 years, because basically there's some really interesting stuff with like the Activision acquisition, including Call of Duty and some other games, about the cloud streaming availability of those things being not exclusive to Game Pass. So like you have to have them available on multiple consoles. I don't know the intricacies there. I'm no lawyer, but I know full exclusivity is outlawed for some of the titles that they're doing for like another 9 years. And I think that there is a world where, if done exactly correctly, Call of Duty, the best place to play Call of Duty, ends up being Microsoft's cloud service 9 years from now. And then they yank it away from PlayStation, which I think is something that would happen. And that would be the time where Microsoft re-embraces exclusivity, not on their home console, but on their virtual network, on their cloud-based gaming service. But for right now, I think that nothing is really sacred for the rest of things. I think that a lot of stuff is going to launch multi-platform. And from time to time, where they have the availability to do so, where they can do the whole better on Xbox. Oh, my voice just cracked. Wow. The better on Xbox thing. I really think that they will re-embrace that with the Microsoft first party stuff. Like, I would be surprised if there wasn't, like, when the next Halo comes out, if it does launch, like, they're really hope, like, the stuff that they really fucking hold dear. I would love to see them go back to the best played here. We get our maps 14 days early or something like that, because they got to do something to preserve it. A lot of people are going to fucking shake their fist at me for saying that, but I don't mind having, sometimes I like my decisions being made for me, man.
Yeah.
Like I fucking choose PlayStation 5 or Xbox every time. I liked the days of like, oh no, all my friends and I all get Call of Duty on Xbox because we get the Xbox maps earlier and there's no fucking around and there's no questions as to who's buying what or where. And that was kind of nice to have everyone there, but in the world of crossplay, I guess it matters less. All right, that's enough Microsoft madness. Let's get into the news spotlight, where we spotlight some of the biggest news from around the game industry. Hey man, you think everything's going well at Moon Studios?
I kind of doubt it.
Correct.
Wow.
Moon Studios boss, who I believe, don't quote me on this, is a piece of work. Maybe. Says that review bombing may force the Ori developers to close their doors in the future. Wow. No Rest for the Wicked is their current game out there, and it released in early fucking access. And Moon Studios is a studio that was mismanaged and handled so poorly for so long that Microsoft chose not to let them work on the next Ori game and told them to get fucked. Microsoft owns the IP, and since then they've been working on what they seem very passionate about in No Rest for the Wicked. Now, it also seems like not many other people happen to be passionate about No Rest for the Wicked, but the ones that are seem pretty pissed off about the latest balance patch and update. The review bombing that is being talked about, that he is quoting, is not quite review bombing. It's a firm misunderstanding of what review bombing means. Review bombing is when people illegitimately review en masse your product or service or game or movie or TV show.
This is correct.
To bring its like total score down.
Yes.
For reasons that don't have to do with the quality of the product, right?
Yes.
What's happening at Moon Studios and with No Rest for the Wicked is that their general fucking user base that plays their game all the time is upset with changes made to the game and are reviewing it accurately for how they feel. That's not review bombing.
No, it's not. And I think it's hilarious that we had to go check the back room to figure out what review bombing was. What the fuck are we talking about, dude? I'm sorry, but like no one cares enough about Rest for the Wicked or about Moon Studios to be review bombing your fucking game. The only people that are looking or giving a flying fuck about No Rest for the Wicked are the people playing it in early access. I still remember when the Game Informer came out for No Rest for the Wicked. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago now. It was forever ago. And I was so excited, to see what Moon Studios was working on. But it's never left early access, and I don't want to play it in early access. I don't play really anything in early access. I'm a super giant sicko, and I won't even play Hades 2 in early access. So it's like, I don't know.
You're missing out.
I know, but I want the full product. I want to get all the fucking goodies all at once. But
that's reasonable.
Yeah, what a bizarre fucking decision to frame this in that light, especially when there are people that actually do go through review bombing, actual developers and actual teams that don't deserve it. It's like, no, you're being held accountable. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like Moon Studios has been plagued for a long time with some severe issues internally, and this is another in a series of strange things coming out of there where that seems like a weird quote to have out in the public too, about like the Moon Studios CEO says we might be forced to close our doors. How is that for employee morale if you're reading that fucking headline around the internet this past week? Like that can't be a good situation over there.
No.
I think something stinks over at Moon Studios. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, Skydance New Media, which is Amy Hennig.
It is.
Delayed again, 2026.
Could have seen that coming.
Better be great. Better be great.
It looks great.
I've gone on record as saying I don't think Amy Hennig's track record is as amazing as everybody thinks it is, but
I think I agree with you. Yeah.
I need another banger. Games always get canceled or delayed, says High Score Weekly. Is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I'm pretty sure the last thing that Amy Hennig actually put out was her credit from the job she was fired from at Naughty Dog, which is Uncharted 4, where Neil Druckmann had to rewrite that story and delay the game to fix the, I apologize. It was that until she did the story concept for Forspoken, and now she's straight over to fucking Marvel 1943 Rise of the Hydra. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, she was a
And
story
like,
consultant for Spoken. That's crazy.
listen, all right, not the right person to say this or have this conversation. Patrick's gonna fucking fire me. Ayla, block your ears. Listeners, don't hold it against. My opinions do not reflect the opinions of this company. She was the creative director and wrote Uncharted 2 and 3. I just played Uncharted 2. The writing didn't really hold up, nor is it very appropriate, nor does it really show women in the best light.
No, it does not.
I wouldn't have expected the lead writer of that game to be Amy Hennig, but that's the world that we're living in. Marvel 1943, 2026, run, don't walk to reorder, I guess. I don't fucking know. Capcom, more records being broken. They posted a record-breaking result for the 8th year in a row, 12 years in a row in the fucking money, making a profit. Cap God era continues. Very cool. Good for them. Keep on making bangers, please. We like it. A leaked trailer reveals that Stellar Blade is coming to PC with a complete edition in June. Is that exciting to you?
I played Stellar Blade for the story. Why would it be exciting for me?
Well, just I guess I'm wondering.
No, I'm being a little facetious. I did play and beat it on PlayStation 5 when it came out. I thought the gameplay was good. I thought the story was really like okay. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Shift Up make some more money by putting it out on PC. Hopefully that helps them fund the development of their next game. I think that like the bones of Stellar Blade was pretty good. I'd love to see what they do next.
I haven't played it, but I have watched a lot of gameplay of it, and see, I'm being facetious as well.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah,
I really think that Stellar Blade though is super strong IP.
It is.
Banger first effort from them on something that seems like really, really bankable. I would love to see Shift Up become like a Sony acquisition or something like that. They're already in bed together.
I think they're on their way. I think depending on how this next game does, I think that'll be the determining factor of whether or not they end up getting acquired.
Yeah, pretty cool. The Gex trilogy launches on June 16th. Now, if you told me Amy Hennig wrote Gex Undercover Gecko, I would believe you. Because the writing in that reminds me of Uncharted 2.
Damn.
To follow up on last week's stories about Rockstar, Rockstar reiterates that the GTA 6 trailer was about 50% gameplay or in-engine cutscene and 50% CGI, all captured on a base PS5.
Yep.
Oh, hey, I'm really proud of the conversation that you and I had about GTA.
Same.
I think that was a really fucking good conversation about like console generations meaning less and less, but gaming iterations meaning more and more. I think you fucking nailed it on that.
I mean, and just for the record, I feel it's important that we clarify that was your take and you fucking nailed it. AmazingStreamer.com, the short stream. I'm kidding.
Fuck you. I can't just say, hey, I think I did a really good job talking about GTA last week.
That's what I'm saying. I think you did a great job. You're like, we did such a great take.
I wouldn't have had that conversation if I wasn't with you, pal.
You're too kind. You're too kind to me.
Mafia the Old Country, not open world, smaller in scope, priced at $50, releasing on August 8th. Love it.
Good. Love that. Love the focus. Love a less expensive title. Love a more contained title that's not going to take me 300 hours to beat. Please, more of that. Please, more of that. Yes, please. Give me more. Most
interested in Mafia the Old Country right now than I ever have been for any other Mafia game. I think Mafia 1 and 2 were a little too old. They were like PS2-ish games that I never really latched onto. I was too busy on GTA. They seemed like they were kind of a knockoff. And then apparently I missed out. People like Mafia 3, a little bit more divisive than those first two. I think the Mafia Definitive Edition has some old school sensibilities, but is also really good. But I've always felt a little alienated. It feels like the Old Country will be a nice place to jump in and give it a try. And especially with the scope that they're talking about, that $50, that shorter experience, man, it's so fucking sick.
Yes.
I would love to hop in, and it being a prequel, not having a number, you know, if this was called Mafia 4, just right off the bat, I would be so much less interested, but it's really cool. It takes place in a unique time period. I urge you to check out the trailer, the most recent trailer even, for Mafia the Old Country. Like, they got these old school fucking late 1800s cars racing around the countryside in Italy and shit. Like, it is really fucking rad. And it's gonna be great.
Very cool.
The last piece of news that I have, I want to say we might have talked about it. When did the giant bomb nightmare happen last week? I think we might have been on this. It might have been on Drop In, Drop Out, but we talked about there was a nightmare for a little while with fandom and Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
And things were looking bad, and the end of Giant Bomb as we knew it appeared to be upon us, which was the case through the weekend until a fucking PAX East panel where the vast majority of Giant Bomb, as of like a week ago, announced that they independently acquired Giant Bomb in its entirety.
So wrong.
And is now run by the 5 people that were employed before, which is like, I think it's Jan, Jeff Grubb, Mike Minotti,
okay,
Jeff Bacalar, and Dan Reichert. I think that's the 5 people.
That's pretty
which
impressive.
Is a fucking strong crew, dude.
Yeah.
Of video game journalists and personalities. Props to them. That is such a rad turnout, a mutually beneficial turnout, personality-based gaming outlet like that has somehow survived for years and years and years with tons of different iterations and so many problems with the corporate overlords that controlled them as they passed hands. Internal drama that led to Nextlander spinning off and people leaving. Jeff Gerstmann famously leaving the company. I mean, the Giant Bomb was founded off of the Jeff Gerstmann controversy around Kane and Lynch too. You know about this?
No.
I think it was GameSpot. I want to say Jeff Gerstmann is one of the most prolific video game journalists of all time. Reviewed Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days and gave it like a 5 or something like that for whatever outlet at the time was there. But the publishers of that game were also a very big sponsor, and they were not too happy about what was going on with the review score, even though they weren't entitled to have any say in that. And shit got real, and Gerstmann was fired and or left and started Giant Bomb, which for all intents and purposes was the first really big indie games media company, which was great until it was eventually bought and sold and switched hands, and there was all sorts of things. So really cool story, full circle story for Giant Bomb. And I think the crew that they landed with now is really, really strong as well. Excited to see what they do next.
Yeah, that's raw. That's awesome. I automatically felt bad for Jeff Grubb and the team when I saw all the stuff coming out. That their baby was going to get snatched for them. So happy to see that they acquired it on their own, and love to see more independent content creators with the power in their hands. That's great.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Maury, another good week in the books, my guy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sirski. Another great time with my friend Jake Twitch.
Yeah, you love to see it. I enjoy talking video games with you oh so much. We will be back here next week, of course, because the Spotlight Games podcast is the place to get your best gaming news every week on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's now on twitch.tv/Spotlight Games. That's here. And you can join the Dido Discord to talk about all things Drop In, Drop Out, Spotlight Games, JK Games, Jake Twitchin, GWT Morty, The Dumpster Boy, Cognitive Clips. So many things to do. So many places to see. Just go to dropindropoutpod.com to find out more. Really good episode. Fun talking news. Am I forgetting anything for housekeeping? More Doom conversation on Thursday.
Yeah.
Very
more
exciting.
Doom. Yep.
And then I'm assuming things are going to get pretty crazy. So these next couple of weeks, I'm really excited to continue talking news with you because we're leading up to that Summer Game Fest, man.
Fuck yeah, we are. And then, dude, DS2's around the corner. Summer Games Fest. We're about to get hit.
On the fucking Nintendo Switch 2 launch.
We're about to get our teeth kicked in. But it's going to be fun. I can't wait to do it with you.
I love it. Awesome. We were now going to wave at the camera and say goodbye until the stream ends. Thanks for listening.